Hello, 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 you guys. It is Ebony, it is I, and I'm here to do some more questions on male athletes and men in music. I'm just gonna keep it brief. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. I do not know how my schedule next week is gonna look. Like, I honestly don't even know if I'll post at all next week, but we will see. You guys gave me a bunch. Like, I have after this, I have 10 new video ideas. You know, aside from my celebrities, which I probably have at least 10 to 15 of those left to do, I have 10 more TBFS videos ideas to do. So I'm just like, I don't know if I want to take a break. Like, it's a lot going on. So I'll figure it out and I'll let you guys know what I figure out. But yeah, we can get straight into it. Okay. So to start off with Morant, or Morant. Sorry if I mispronounced that. I feel like you could like this person. I wonder if he honestly seems like, I wonder if they have maybe similar personalities or personality traits. Like, he's kind of known as being like a hothead. I wonder if TBFS could be known as somebody with an attitude, or his low key like quick to snap. I've said before that she's known as being kind of mean or kind of strict, so they could definitely be that kind of thing. Like I said, the personalities seem to reflect each other in some way. Honestly, John Moran doesn't really seem like he has a real sexual attraction towards her, and it might be because of this personality. I don't think he necessarily dislikes it. I think that he just thinks that it can't be two of us. Like, this town is not big enough for the two of us. And I've spoken about him before. Like, he's a Leo, and I personally said before I would never date no Leo man because they always think that they the bad bitch in the relationship, and I do think that he very much so sees some stuff like this. Not in a weird, like, sassy, like, misogynistic kind of way. I mean, you can argue that, that's a different conversation for a different day. But I do think that he just thinks that their personality would not clash, and so he does not really see this person sexually. Like, of course she's beautiful. I just think that he kind of understands that they would not have chemistry romantically, because, like I said, it's just two big strict personalities going against each other. Like, it's not really gonna work. Someone has to kind of be the weaker one or default, and he's not doing it, and he knows that she's not doing it, so why even get involved? But it isn't attract like an understanding of like attraction. It just doesn't even feel like he's that attracted to her. He might be very drawn to personality, or just be so assured that her personality would not work with his, that he's just like, you're attractive, but I don't really like, I'm not thirsting after this or trying to force it to make you work just because you look good, when I know that we're not gonna like each other like that. Yeah, they kind of have this like twin or like sibling kind of energy. So they might even get along in that sense. Like, I don't know if I'd necessarily see them being friends, but they might kind of understand each other in like a friendly way. Or they might relate, like, they see a lot of similarities in each other, but it's not necessarily like lust or romantic. Like, it just kind of seems weird with them to kind of be romantic. It's just like they fit a lot better as friends. I do think that he could see her as a star. She might open his mind to kind of different perspectives of blackness or of uh the world. He might also think that her fame is kind of unprecedented, or to happen for her in a crazy way or a cool way. Especially if this happened, like, things changed in her life quite quickly. Like, it just might be a kind of a new way to kind of get viral or be seen. But yeah, he may even contemplate or go, like, really think about, like I said, think deeply about how their personalities will work, because he, like I said, he definitely will find her attractive. I just don't think this is someone who's lusting after her, because the more he thinks about it, the more he's just like, this just would not work. It simply would not work between the two of us. Like, lots of fighting. We don't have really, like, our schedules wouldn't align. Like, there's just nothing about us that would align. So I don't think he's really trying to force it. He might also be quite prideful, or maybe even literally say something to where this person is like, I would never fuck with you. I would never want to deal with someone like you. Your ego is way too big for me. I just don't want to deal with no Leo ass nigga. Like, no. I wonder if he Loki has an attitude with her, or he gets kind of smart with her. And so he might feel like, damn, if I wasn't like that, we might have been able to do something. This might even be somebody who Loki gets off on, like hate sex or like makeup sex. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, he likes to use the aggression in terms of sexual energy, and he's like, if I played that a little bit differently, I could have at least got some ass or something out of that. Like, I don't think so, but, like, you can dream. I'm also gonna put it like this. I don't think he's afraid of a successful woman. I think he just also likes to be the more successful one in his career. And I don't think that, especially where he's at right now, I think that he feels like he's doing okay. Maybe his status has gone down a little bit. Like, I heard about him having to sell some houses, and so I think that he might feel like, I'm stable at this point. But I think that he might appreciate help, but I don't think that he necessarily likes having to ask for it. Like, that might make him feel bad even if he really needed it. So I don't think that he's necessarily, like, I think that he wants to be an asset to somebody rather than them being an asset to him. But yeah, I will say that I do think that he could I think he could call this person twin, or even just acknowledge her in the public, like saying that he likes her, or he thinks that she's cool, or things like that. Like I said, I think he will definitely admit that he is attracted to her. Like, but it doesn't really feel like a strong sexual attraction or anything. It just feels like, yeah, I can acknowledge that you are a good, like, for sure you're a good looking person, for sure. I think he just kind of knows that he's not going to go that way, and he feels like possibly his opinions or the way he acts is kind of already ensured that before they even met, it was over. Yeah, in a different world, he might think that it might be cool, especially if they're born around the same time. I said before that she kind of gives Leo placement, like that's been coming up a lot. So this might even be one of those things where it's like if we both didn't have these, or just in general, if we didn't have these huge egos, we might have gotten along. But it's just too much, you know. He might also wish that she was a little bit more feminine in her acting, and that might have made it more possible. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, so with Central C, I don't really feel like Central C is really into black girls. Like even girls who are mixed race, they might have to look a certain kind of way, like look very racially ambiguous for him to be really into them. Like okay, so I always say the story about Odile, where like I never thought he was ugly, but I never really paid a lot of attention to him until other women were like, "Oh my God, Odile is so cute," and I was like, "Really? When did that happen?" Like, so this might be the kind of person who really doesn't notice how attractive that she is or attractive that he would be to her, and when it hits him, I think at that point in time, it's just I don't know if it's like too late or she has other things going on, but it kind of feels like it's at a point where there's low-key no point in acknowledging it. I wonder if he might even said something negative about black women publicly, or just like said something to alienate her specifically that he feels like he can't come back from. Like he kind of feels like he's said no or done something that would be a hard preliminary no, just to come back around and be like, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or it wasn't worth. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it wasn't worth it, or it just wasn't the smartest thing to do or say. He might find her beautiful. He might really appreciate or respect women who get money or are very successful in their careers. They might have a past life connection, but this might not necessarily even be that they had a direct connection. It might even just be that like he knew her in passing. Like I definitely feel like this is someone who this is not his first time lifetime seeing her. I just don't know that they were necessarily like in connection. Like it kind of feels like he might have been around, but he was distant. This is like, instead of a sibling, this is like a cousin, for example. Yeah, I just think that he's gonna be in regret over never really giving her a chance, and it doesn't even really feel mutual. Like she would have cared, or like she would have known or really cared. But he might feel like I really came in like I don't know, like for example, like with like racial bias. This is kind of the person who's like as soon as he sees black, he doesn't really look. I feel like he doesn't really look deeply. He's just like, no, not my type. And so by the time that he realizes that this person is attractive, or he might be attracted to them, I feel like he's definitely done something to where it's like, no, you know what I'm trying to say? I feel like it's actually a rejection on his end first because of his own preference for him to come back and be like, no, that she's actually kind of bad. I don't know if he might even say that he thinks that she looks better than some of the women that he's dealt with. I want to say his ex specifically, but I don't know if this is Madeline. It might be, because that's a lily white girl. But yeah, she might even teach him kind of emotional patience or how to check um, his own anti-blackness, because he might feel like he's missed out on several good opportunities because of thoughts like this, or maybe this might be the first time where he's really felt a certain kind of way and he's kind of had regret over his views. But yeah, he might honestly be trying to mac from the friend zone, but I do think it's way too late. Like there's no way that's happening still. I do think that they will remain good friends, but I honestly don't see this person. They might work together, like record something, but it never comes out because they don't like it. I just don't see much coming from the relationship. I'm not gonna lie, but they might be friends. It's like we're cool. If I needed it, I could. Like Ice Spice called Scene was like, "Can I stay at your house or something?"
So I'm supposed to be like I'm supposed to go to London, right, tomorrow. And I just have a problem. Literally, like my whole family's meeting me there. And I booked an Airbnb and everything, and it's literally like they said that the wait is gonna be like a few hours before they can actually get in. So I was just wondering if they could like maybe wait at your place, or
what time they get in there?
They land in like 30 minutes.
15 minutes from now?
Yeah, from now.
Oh, so they're landing today, but you're getting there tomorrow?
Yeah, just until the Airbnb is ready for them to check in and everything, because they have nowhere else to wait.
This is the maddest question I think somebody's ever asked me,
I'm trying to say, like, it's that kind of thing where it's like, if you need me, you can call me, but it's not necessarily we're such good friends. But yeah, he could also feel like she's quite happy where she is. So even if he tried to, with her man or in her relationship or just in life, so he's just like, even if I try to run it back, it's not like she's gonna give a fuck. She doesn't have to. He can honestly fantasize about getting her, allegedly, hypothetically, getting her pregnant, or just how she would look pregnant, or just having a family with her, just like her femininity and like what she can create from that. Even like how she pours this into her music, he can admire that a lot. But yeah. Okay, who is Memphis Depay? Depay? I have no idea who this is. Memphis D. Apparently, is this Lori Harvey's ex? This is what someone DM'd me. So I told them I was trying to go out my way um, to not look up this person, so I don't know anything but his name. This kind of gives me Kelly Aubrey Jr. Is he like light skin? Like, does he have light skin? Is he like curly hair? Um, I don't know. I don't know who this is. Aries is coming through, so I don't know if he I was actually getting this energy of like, I don't know if he's ever been like physically abusive or just as somebody who's known for playing quite rough, or maybe he's literally an Aries. March is also coming through specifically, so I don't know if that's significant to him. Yeah, this is all hypothetical, alleged. He kind of gives me violent. He kind of gives me like, that might also be why Aries is coming through. He gives me like very very violent. Like, I don't know if he's quick to get in fights. I don't know if he's ever put his hands on somebody else, but he definitely seems like a very very violent person to me. I'm not going to talk about him long because I don't really like this, but this is definitely the kind of person to like sabotage certain opportunities. This is the kind of nigga to like black your eye and then tell you to wear some sunglasses and go out like nothing happened. Like, there's something about him that feels very like purposefully trying to sabotage her success, especially by hitting or doing things to the face. Aries also rules the head, so that might be why that's coming too as well. Is he like literally a fire sign, or does he have like a very masculine sun sign? There's something about him that just feels very like, it feels very like just like egotistical. Like, he's just not, I don't know, he doesn't even seem like a safe person. He also seems like someone who's like looking for a reason to be violent. Like, this is the kind of person who sees, like, you know how they say like the most dangerous time in a woman's relationship is generally when she's pregnant. This is the kind of person to like, see her really happy, see her, I want to say just like soft life, I want to say male centered. This might even be somebody who kind of expects that when she gets certain levels of success to kind of revolve it around him, and when she doesn't, like for example, this is someone who, like, let's say she got pregnant, she looks super beautiful, this could be somebody who gets like violent with her or jealous of that, or like, let's say, like, it kind of the word maternal is also coming through, so it kind of feels like maybe her most successful this person would be or will be, I don't know if he's around her, but would be kind of like a damper on that, like really not wanting to see her happy, especially if she is at her most like creative. It's kind of giving like womb envy, like seeing her at her most creative, feeling like she's really uh beautiful, feeling like she's at her most successful in her career, like just getting a bunch of money. Especially if this is like also passive income and then kind of attacking her because of that. It definitely feels like a deliberate attempt to de-beautify her or dethrone her at her most successful for sure. Like, this is the kind of person who starts fights when they know that you have something important to do to derail you on purpose. Yeah, he doesn't really feel nice very like verbally. I feel like this is someone who could show affection but then pull it back. Or just kind of act like he never really loved you like that in the first place, or you were never deserving of better than that. Like, he just doesn't seem very positive to me at all. Like, this is the kind of person who wants to see her up or see her fail, and that will make him feel good or feel like he's on her level. This might even be somebody who wants to bring her down to his level if he feels like she's doing better than him. And he seems like he plots and plans, especially because this comes from a place of insecurity or even sadness. I wonder, does he have issues with his mother or just issues with like seeing women be successful? But it feels like he deliberately does things to make other people feel as bad as he does about himself or his circumstance, especially if he's quite triggered by seeing women be successful, like, boss up and leave him, or I don't know, like, did he, like, I don't know if he had a situation with his mother or just like some woman where it kind of seemed like, she got her shit together and then he was kind of on the back burner or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, he kind of gives me someone who wants to undo all her wins or all her life plans. Like, I personally would not fuck with this person, just personally. Okay, so with Neymar, I wonder if this person could low-key not feel good enough for her. And it doesn't really feel like a monetary thing because I'm sure that he's quite a successful soccer player. Um, I just wonder if he might feel like she kind of outshines him in terms of like the, how do I put this? Like, of course, people who play sports would know him, and he is somebody who's famous outside of certain sports. But it kind of feels like he doesn't really have the cultural, excuse me, the cultural currency that he would want. I wonder if this could even just be a physical thing, like feeling like he's just not as attractive as this person. So that might be something that he constantly has. Currently is crazy. Might constantly have an issue with, like, other people seeing this person as attractive and him not being as attractive as well. I kind of feel like he can sense this kind of regal thing from her. Like, she probably was really important, or she came into this life with a really big destiny. This might even be like a past life thing of like, you were really important to a bunch of people at one point in time, and I was kind of like a pop where I lived a regular life. Whether they were in the same timeline or not, he might just feel like she comes from a place of, she has this confidence because she was kind of born into this, like born for this, if that makes sense. And like, I wasn't, like, I just had this very casual or around the way kind of thing about myself where she kind of has this regality. He might honestly be quite sexually attracted to her. I wonder if he's low-key not a non-sexual person or doesn't really lead with sex, but he might be surprised how like lustful he is around this person. This might even be somebody who, even though he is lustful, he might really take her seriously or would like to marry her. Them that might also be. Is he like married? Is he in a long-term relationship? I don't think so. He doesn't really feel like it. I'd be surprised if he was. Not to be offensive, but he just kind of feels like, he's doing him. So if I was in a relationship with him, like if he's actually in a relationship, ooh. But yeah, he might feel like this is someone who could definitely get that kind of like like I'll just say monstrous, like, you know, lustful side out of him, but really also be taken seriously by him. He might also really love and respect a woman who can do a lot, especially if he is dating or has dated women who kind of like, you know, the whole premise of their careers or their most successful is, you know, being with them, him as a soccer player. You know, I'm thinking about, is her name Georgiana who's involved with Ronaldo. Like, I don't know anything about her career wise, so I don't want to act like she wasn't anybody before him. But she just might feel like there are a lot of women who kind of live in their man's coattails. He could like that she's someone who has a whole career and a life and prosperity outside of him as well. I think he just wonders, can I live up to that? Can I match that with what I have to offer? Because he, like, you know, for example, with Clay and Megan, how they were just saying like, of course Clay is successful, no one was saying that he wasn't successful, but people who play sports, like I said, they generally just do not have a lot of notoriety outside of their sports. It's not to say that they're not successful, it's not to say that nobody knows them, but like in terms of this being like a super like global phenomenon, which with him specifically, I would argue was different. Like, there are a couple of people who have transcended those lines, and I think he's definitely one of those people. But he might even, for example, I don't know, like, I know his name, but I don't even know how he looks, so he might feel like, this is someone who gets recognized anywhere they go. Meanwhile, he kind of has things like he's a little bit more alias, if that makes sense, or just unknown to this global sector, even if people know who he is. I wonder if he might even tell her this, like how much he admires her, or just how famous that she is. Like, he might even, like, I wonder if he just has anecdotes. You know how Megan was saying that Jennifer Hudson's security kept like trying to get her to come because they thought that she was Jennifer Hudson. Like, it's one of those things.
Do you get mistaken for me ever? Okay. Has it ever happened? Friend, remember that time we was in Italy for the Dolce thing? Yes. Jennifer security kept snatching me up. Stop it! They was like, come on, we gotta move. I'm like, I'm not with you. It's not me, I'm not her, I promise.
He might just be like, yeah, you're just so big that I said your name or I played your song and people went crazy. Like, having anecdotes about how famous or notable that she is. But there is an acknowledgement in some ways not feeling good enough, especially like I said, through name or just her being more global than him, for sure. With Messi, this is also probably going to be quick. He does not think about her much. He might think that she's attractive, especially if she has a nice body or she has quite nice sex appeal. I'm thinking about Aaliyah, so this could definitely be someone who, you know, it's popular in quite a bit of spaces. I wonder if he might even like her style. There's something about her. There's something about like flowers and her femininity. I wonder if these are specific looks. Like, if he ever saw her somewhere, she might look really nice and really feminine. Especially she's wearing like pink and like frills and stuff like that. Like, he might even admire the fact that she's able to kind of. I wonder if he feels like she might even influence style or influence other people's style. Like, I think, is Messi not married? Like, for example, she might influence the way that his wife dresses. Like, he just might like the way that she moves because it kind of improves the way that other women look. Messi kind of gives me Trick a little bit. I'm not saying that he would cheat with her. I'm not saying that he is a cheater, because I believe he's married, but I don't know this. But I do feel like this is someone who's just like, yeah, tricking is serious. So if he doesn't literally do this, he might feel like he would. This might even just be endlessly giving her flowers and kind of um acknowledging that she is. Oh, my bag. Acknowledging that she is beautiful. Like, it kind of seems like he's an endless well of like material or resource for her. So I wonder if he might even like, I don't know. Like, this is a very strange thing. If he's not literally giving her money, he might say things that would help her improve her money or things like that. This might even be that he would like to give her money, but he might feel like there's no slick way for him to be able to do it. um, or would, you know, without admitting that his feelings or other people seeing this as salacious, especially if he is in a relationship. He might even just be figuring out how to kind of do those kinds of things with her. He might even feel like she's able to read minds. Also, I want to say this. This is hypothetical. Allegedly, I do not know this to be true. I think that I don't. I don't know. I feel like he's the kind of person where if he found somebody who fit better with him, he would leave the relationship that he's in. I'm not saying that he will. I'm just saying that if he found somebody, like, I wonder if he's kind of looking for excitement or just like attraction in places where he doesn't already have it. And so I think that if this person was down, he might move differently about his relationship. But I don't think this is that for sure. But in some ways, she might be his dream girl. Whether this is like, this might even be why I brought up the style, like whether this is in aesthetic, whether this is in body type, whether this is in talent or like notoriety. There's something about her that he really likes, and he would cultivate it had he had the chance, or he was able to kind of be slick about it. But yeah, there will be at least some level of investment. Like, it feels like a material investment in her. So like, I don't know if this is like paying bills. I don't know if this is like buying a bunch of albums. Like, if his kids love it, he's like, okay, I'm gonna buy concert tickets to go here. I definitely feel like there's some money being spent or given to her in some way, whether this is literally just gifts or like actually investing in businesses. But yeah. Okay, so we have CR7, which I believe is Ronaldo. I don't even watch soccer, so I know who he is, but I'm pretty sure that's his nickname. I just don't know for sure. Do they be saying, this is a legit hypothetical? Did they be saying that Ronaldo be cheating? Was that not a thing? Like I know that he's had a couple of scandals around promiscuity and just like sexual deviancy around his relationship, but yeah. Yeah, there's absolutely a sexual attraction here, but in comparison to Messi, I don't feel like Ronaldo is the type. Mind you, he just married that girl, right? And they had been together, they had several kids. Like he's definitely not the type to just come up off his money. Is he? He's an Aquarius, right? Like that's very like, that's very Aquarius. Like definitely, like they're very like I get to use you, but you do not get to use me. They're always like that. Especially if he has like, I wonder if he has Loki like a harem of side chicks or people like on a roster. This is all hypothetical, alleged. I do not know that to be true. But like if he kind of had a couple girls in pocket, like you know what I'm trying to say? I do think that he might kind of want to add her to the roster. He might be a little bit adamant or just wonder why she wouldn't or why she is not, especially if he makes her an offer. I wonder if he could ever think about committing to her, or she might even inspire him to kind of take his marriage more seriously. There's something about him being surprised by how much he likes her, or how this person inspires commitment. But like I said, I don't know if this is like wanting it with her or just kind of him feeling like, okay, I need to focus more on my own family, if that makes sense. Like especially if he's feeling unsatisfied in his marriage. Mind you, like I said, they've been together for a minute, but they had just got married. So I don't know if he's like feeling unsatisfied in his marriage, but he might even feel like it's time for me to move on, or I should be with someone who is actually really better, like actually makes me happy, if that makes sense. Mind you, in a weird way, I do think that he thinks that I think her name is, I don't know if it's Georgina or Georgiana. I feel like he feels like this person is his soulmate, but I don't think that he thinks that this is necessarily like he's not his happiest. There's a part of me that feels like he would or he will kind of leave his family behind, or just at least like her involvement in it. Like I said, I don't know if she is like, I don't know her, so I'm just, this is just a hypothetical, but I don't know if she's not that successful in her career, or she never really had much of her career going for her. He can like that this person is comes with her own money or has her own success for sure. Like he likes that. Like I said, someone who he doesn't necessarily have to trick or take care of. It's just she has enough going on. But like I said, this is all hypothetical and legit. I do not know what, if she does anything, like what she does. Like I don't know if she runs any businesses or anything. But yeah, he could just really like that this person already has a lot of success when he meets her. But he could definitely think about, like I said, he can think about marriage. He thinks about commitment very deeply when he's with her. So it's like either with her, thinking about what he really wants from his own marriage. He could definitely feel like he chose wrong. I'm not saying that he even necessarily thinks he's going to be with this person. He just might feel like I said, I did not choose somebody who was really my soulmate or really, really made me happy. It's just like I said, we were already together, we already had kids, so I might as well. One thing about me, I always say, if you're over the age of 25 and a man takes longer than 5 years to marry you, he does not like you and needs to shut up ring. That's just how. That's really just how I feel. I don't give a fuck. So yeah, it's very interesting. I'm not going to talk about him much more. It's very interesting because he might feel like this was a net positive, like getting married was a net positive for his relationship. But I don't think that he's necessarily happier, aside from feeling like it's a hump that we finally got over, especially if it was a point of contention between them for a long while. Because like I said, they already had kids for years. Like I don't understand why he just now married this lady, but yeah. I also wonder if he might regret a lot of his promiscuity, especially if he feels like this behavior is going to sabotage this future relationship, or kind of she doesn't want to fuck with him because he knows that he's a cheater, or he's done, like I said, salacious things in the past in relationships. Like he's just not a really good person in terms of being a partner. But yeah, it's like he's acknowledging he did all that shit, but he just feels like he regrets it because it makes it, it's like when your credit is fucked up, like it makes it really hard to move forward with other people because you've already ruined your reputation so much in terms of relationships. She's definitely not interested though. Like even if he expressed this, like I don't want to be friends, we not cool, I don't want nothing to do with you. Like I said, you're a married man, go be with your wife and your kids, and that's it. As she should. I also feel like this person, I've said before, she don't really like this world. I don't think that she's just like, there's nothing about you that really does it for me. Not your identity, not your success, not even like you're also a family man. Go be with your family. Like I do not want to deal with that too. But yeah, I think that he likes that she has a self esteem about her too. That might even be something that the wife kind of lacks. No shade, like no shade. But he might just feel like, she likes herself. She's feminine on the outside, but she's very strict with herself, and this enables to her to have a bunch of success. And so he might feel like, I wish that you would be more like her. This is why the person that I'm with doesn't really satisfy me, because she doesn't have these qualities. She kind of settled until she couldn't, until I decided that I was okay to give her something. Meanwhile, this person, even though she's more feminine, she has more sense about her, so she wouldn't let herself be in that. And this is why or why she has a person who loves her the way that he does. Like he admires her a lot because of her mindset, because he might feel like his wife or who he's with does not necessarily have that. He could also feel like he hated this, like women who are too smart. But now that he sees it, he's just like, no, it's a beautiful thing. It's just because I'm a piece of shit that I didn't want someone who had these qualities. But now I see them, I actually really do like them. It's just they're not convenient for the games that I play specifically. Yeah, he acknowledges that he's childish or undeveloped in certain kind of ways, or he doesn't really want to give up certain like masculine, chauvinistic lifestyles, so he can't get what he wants, especially in her. But yeah. I do think, okay, so we're gonna move on to Chris Brown. I do think that Chris Brown would love to work with this person, but I do think that he could be very upset by this person not wanting to work with him. He might be very adamant about getting a feature or even react very badly about it. Like, you know how he got mad when Tinashe was like saying, I only did that because my label forced me? He would hate for this person to be like, I would never do that with you, or someone would have to force me into that position. I would never willingly work with you. She could be very much so like Zara Larson. But the thing about Zara is she was kind of she was a little bit unprovoked. Not that I care, but it's just like, I mean, to be fair, they did ask her questions and then she just answered honestly. But this might be somebody who like, you know, like they might not speak on him at all, and then all of a sudden when someone is like, you're not gonna do this or something, she's like, fuck no. Like, I feel like she could speak very candidly about him, but it wouldn't be something where it's just like a random interview where she was like, fuck Chris Brown. It kind of feels like someone would ask a direct question and she would be like, hell no. I think that she could be very strict, or she might be very mean. But you know what's actually quite interesting? I don't even feel like she would be overt. Like, it wouldn't be like, you know, Chris Brown, the crackhead, and he has all these fucking kids and he does all this. I think this would just be somebody who like, I don't want to be with somebody who beats bitches up. You know, like, or I'm sorry, I don't want to work with somebody who does those kinds of things. Like, not even going into deep, but just very saying exactly what it was. It might be seen as harsh, but that's exactly what he did. And he might feel like he doesn't like when people talk about it like that. Um, just like very offended by what she says, even though to me it actually doesn't even seem like salacious past what he has literally done. You know, it just sounds really bad when you say it like that, but like, it's not only what you did, it's what you do. Like, it's you've done it multiple times. Honestly, we don't even know if you might even do that shit again. Like, let's just be honest. To a certain extent, I wonder if people might say that they might sound good together, or he thought that they would be friends for some reason. Like, I wonder if there's some like relation between them. Like, I don't know. Like, does she have some connection to the 757 or something like that? Like, I don't even understand why he would feel like this would just be like a slide in. Like, I'm thinking about Kevin McCall and Chris on Deuces, where like he's talking about a breezy red, two up, two that. Like, I don't know if this is like Virginia could be significant because I think Kevin McCall is also from Virginia. Like, I don't know why he kind of thought that he would just have an in with this person in some way. Like, we relate in some way, and so we were gonna be good. But like, especially if this is someone trying to do like, I wonder if this is like a DMV thing, and it's like, why would I want to work with you? But yeah, yeah, one thing about it is I do think that Chris, I don't think he would necessarily publicly post this L, but I do think he could be very adamant on getting her, and when he's not able to, he can go kind of radio silent. Like, I don't think he will necessarily, because Chris hasn't addressed Laura. Chris hasn't addressed Zara, even though I don't think that he has. I'll probably look it up and see if I can find anything, but I don't think he has. So he could be very quiet about this, especially behind the scenes. He was really trying to work with her, and she was like, fuck no. One thing I will also say, he might acknowledge that she is quite happy with who she's with and what she's doing. So it might even be a thing where he's quiet about it because it didn't necessarily inhibit her success. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it didn't stop anything. Like, she didn't lose anything by not working with him in the way that maybe other people, depending on the level of their career that they're at, they might low key need it or find benefit in a Chris Brown collab. Like, he's just like, it's like Beyonce. Like, Beyonce don't need no fucking Chris Brown collab. Like, let's be honest. Yeah, she keeps it real. She's not even being, like I said, I don't feel like she's being overtly mean. I think it's just exactly what he did. And from that point, he's like, yep, never gonna mention her again. Yeah. I do think that he could think about this a lot. I do think that he could dislike her, but I don't think that he's very public. I just don't think that he's gonna have a crazy big public outburst with this person, no matter what she says. Especially depending on what and how she says it. Like I said, if it's just the truth, like, then yeah, yeah. With karrueche, she kind of also gives me like colorist, like, hypothetically, allegedly, she just kind of feels like she kind of has a superiority complex based on her looks, on her heritage specifically, like just feeling exoticized. I feel like Karrueche, I don't know, she prefers people who are a different color or a different race. You know, I just feel like she kind of looks down on certain people or feels like she's better than them in a lot of ways. I also think that, I don't know if I think she's dating Deion Sanders, right? I don't know if necessarily this man is speaking certain kinds of life into her in that way, or she just kind of feels like that's validated in this relationship. But she might really she might feel like she really has a reason to feel this way or look down, especially on monoracial black women, hypothetically, allegedly. I did not know her or know this to be true, right? Karrueche might even, she might acknowledge and look even resent that this person kind of makes black women the trend, or they kind of like the desirability or the beauty points are going up in a way that she just kind of feels like for a long time it hasn't been the truth. Like, even with her and Rihanna is biracial. Like, I know people will call her black, but Rihanna's biracial. She's actually also said that she's biracial herself, so she might even feel like even with competing with Rihanna is another mixed girl. Like, she's not necessarily, you know, just your run-of-the-mill average black girl. So she might feel like this person, even if she was beautiful, she just might feel like, well, she's monoracial, so people are not going to see her the same, and so it could kind of irritate her that this has changed through this person. I wonder if Karrueche could also quite envy her success, especially if she's talking about her, like, you know, you're only going to get to a certain point because you look a certain way. And then she ended up kind of, like I said, defying standards and redefining things around her and her identity when it's kind of unprecedented. or they don't associate these kinds of things with women, with black women. Like she's like she can feel like she's endlessly successful or able to raise the standard to a point that's literally been unseen, to the point where it's like it's not just her, it's so many other black women. Like I said, the kind of the acknowledgement of her success or the acknowledgement of her desirability is just so, the resounding effect is so big and it's so much bigger than her, and it's a global thing, right? It's across the country, it's across the world. I wonder if she's low-key in her relationship is kind of loveless, or like intimacy could be an issue, but she could definitely envy that if she feels like her and her partner you know, have an amazing intimate life, especially if this is who I think it is. Like he's also a Taurus, right? So she might feel like, I miss that. Is Deion Sanders, is he an earth sign? I wonder what his sign is, but she might feel like I missed that part about being with him. Like I know how freaky he was, or just how satisfied I was in that way, even if everything about else about the relationship was like a nightmare, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if karrueche was kind of the kind of person to evil eye her, or possibly even say negative things about her publicly, especially because of her own racism, her own prejudice, right? Hypothetically, allegedly. She just might feel like the ways that she's been praised, like that time in that era, is over, and her just kind of getting brownie points just for looking a different kind of way or being mixed race is just not, it's not enough. It's not like, you know what I'm trying to say? It's just not like this is no longer the age of where being light skinned or being mixed is like king. Like I think that in her mind she's like, yeah, this time where I could just kind of get away with anything because I look a certain way is over. I feel like some of this shit just deleted, and if it does, I'll probably go back and CapCut and edit it, because I swear to God I just saw this shit just lose like a minute, like 30 seconds, and I don't know what the fuck just happened. But yeah. Okay, I think ASAP Rocky is also quite similar. I also feel like ASAP Rocky has kind of acknowledged that he doesn't really like fully black women. Like I said, Rihanna is absolutely biracial. Chanel Iman, is she not Blasian as well? Like, is she not mixed race to some extent? I think that ASAP Rocky finds this person a little bit too masculine, and like he might say it like that in personality, especially if this is behind closed doors. He might act like it's a personality thing, which of course I do think it is, but I do think a lot of it is her looks. He's just assuming that because you're fully black, because you look fully black, you know, you're too mad. Like it's a code. It's coded when he says those kinds of things. It's coded, absolutely, right? Like there's something about him where, like in his relationship with Rihanna, hypothetically, allegedly, I feel like he doesn't really feel outshined by her success, because he might feel like in a certain way, I still look and feel like the man. Like I feel like her looks kind of make him feel more masculine. Like it's really really weird. Like when you really ask questions about why certain things make you feel a certain kind of way, it's really 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 weird that he feels validated by those kinds of things, but he kind of seems like he does. Like he still feels like the king in his house. I feel like he couldn't deal with this level of success from a woman who's monoracial. It might even be hiding behind this thing of like, oh well, you look a certain way, so you are going to be that successful. Also, you make me look good because you are as size while being as highly successful. I don't think he would react well or the same to a black woman who did like a fully black woman who did those same things, because he might feel like at that point is emasculating. In general, I feel like Rocky hides behind a lot of his successes, including being with Rihanna, to kind of hide his insecurities about his career, where he feels like he should be, especially at his age. Because he might feel like stuck or kind of overshadowed. He might feel like there's no amount of access that will kind of improve it, because if it was going to, especially being with her, it would have. So it's like my best gig is being a dad, and then after that, it's like if I want to make music, I don't really even necessarily have to have a bunch going on, because my BM will take care of all that shit. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I just feel like he can be hyper aware of it when he doesn't he no longer has somebody to put on a shelf like a trophy, to kind of see themselves as like, in a way he probably sees her as greater than himself because of how she looks, and so he's like, okay, it makes sense. And that's why I'm saying where he might not necessarily deal the same with that energy from someone who was monoracial. One thing I will say, he might, how Erica Badu, they were talking about she has witch coochie, he might acknowledge that this person kind of has that kind of sex appeal that would control a man. He might even feel like, and I've said this before about the partner, where it kind of feels like other people could feel like he's kind of like pussy whipped, or like, whatever that she's doing to him is good enough for him to act a certain kind of way. So he could definitely feel like she's kind of spiritual, or the yoni and all that, like the feminine mystery and all that is like hypnotizing to people. I don't think that he finds her attractive. It might even be a thing where he does find her attractive, but he kind of is so set in his ways about his beliefs about blackness or black women that he doesn't really like to acknowledge it, or he would feel a certain kind of way about it. Like this is the kind of man who, like, for example, this is the kind of man who would like big women, but would be super ashamed to be seen with them in public, even though that's what he really likes. Like I feel like there's a certain reason why he wouldn't want to be associated with this person, not because they're not successful, not because they're not beautiful, but because being with who he's with is a status symbol, even if who he likes is different than who he feels like will make him look good. I will say that he might like this person's music, or just acknowledge that she is a great musician. I'm not saying that she's better than Rihanna, but he could acknowledge that in certain ways that she is better than her, whether this is like in sales, whether this is in music or musicality. Mind you, Rihanna is great, so it definitely says a lot about her success. He might watch her quite a bit, I'll say that much. I wonder if Loki has a lot to say about her, or he just kind of like, it just feels a certain kind of way between, like, there's an energy or just something there, even if it's not necessarily like a real relationship there. But yeah. Yeah, like I honestly feel like he might be fighting some level of sexual attraction. Not actually that he would act on it or anything, but I do think that he could be fighting this urge to kind of be attracted to certain kinds of women and acting like he doesn't when he fully does, right? Fully does. So that might even be why he's watching her a lot, or she might even feel uncomfortable around him because it's clear, like I can tell there's energy there, but you're not really wanting to acknowledge it. He's definitely hiding and fighting for some feelings, but there's definitely something about her that is absolutely his type, even if it's outside of her looks. Like I said, he might even just be attracted to her specifically, like her looks, but like he can't really acknowledge it. He likes her. He's just trying to deny it, and so he might use certain kind of buzzwords or coded words to kind of combat this. He kind of gives me like the isms. Like he's just so afraid to open up his mind and see the world bigger than like how he's been socialized to see it. Like light is good, dark is bad. You know, like woman is second to man, that kind of thing, hypothetically, allegedly. And I also want to say that he could be empowered by these things by giving certain people a chance. I'm not saying that he's going to break up with Rihanna and the relationship is going to go to shit, but I do think that he might look like it might even be a thing of like if I acknowledge this now, where would my relationship go, if that makes sense, especially if he's not satisfied in some ways, hypothetically, allegedly. But he might also feel like he might never get to his fullest potential because he will never acknowledge the depth of his perception of certain things. But yeah, but there is an attraction to her. It's just like fighting with what to do with it and why, and like just really questioning himself because of how he's treated certain kinds of women. But yeah, he's so overwhelmed. But I'm going to leave this there. I'm thinking I'm going to do one more video, especially because someone asked me about different people in the diaspora, and that's messy as fuck to me, and I would love to do that. So we'll see. I'm going to go into the gym and we'll see how fucked I look after that. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.